Okay, so we're going deep on Meta's Q3 earnings call today. We've got all the reports and the analysis right here ready to break it all down.
It feels like we're seeing Meta at a crossroads. They're dealing with this whole maturing social media world, but also just dumping money hand over fist into AI and the metaverse.
Yeah, it's like a balancing act for sure. But let's start with the numbers. Revenue's up 19%, expenses up 14%, operating income sitting pretty at 17.4 billion. Oh, and get this, 3.2 billion daily active users on the family of apps.
Those are some strong numbers on the surface. But the real question is, how do they keep that momentum going? There are some pretty big challenges ahead.
True, and that's where AI comes in.
hmm
Zuckerberg was practically bouncing off the walls talking about it. He wasn't just name-dropping it. It's like AI is at the core of everything they're planning.
Yeah, it's not just talk. Take their new ad creation tool, for example. It uses AI to let businesses just automatically generate all the stuff they need for their ad campaigns. That's huge for advertisers. Saves them a ton of time and effort, and it's AI baked directly into their money-making machine.
Okay, so AI is juicing up the existing business.
Hmm.
But what about the threats to that model? Analysts were definitely digging around trying to figure out how Meta is going to handle all this competition and the fact that people's attention is just all over the place.
Competition is definitely a big one. TikTok is still the elephant in the room, especially with the younger crowd. Meta's answer. More reels, their short-form video thing, and of course stuffing it full of AI to make those recommendations even more addictive.
Feels a little bit like they're playing catch-up there, though. They also made a big deal about how they're open sourcing their AI with those Llama models. Is that just PR, or is there something more strategic going on there?
It's good PR for sure, but it's also pretty clever. By open sourcing it, they basically get this whole global army of developers who are constantly tinkering and making Llama better. And that means Meta gets all the benefits without having to shoulder all the research costs themselves.
So it's like crowdsourcing their AI development. Pretty slick. But how does this fit into their big picture plans? Especially with Meta AI, their answer engine. Analysts were pretty interested in whether that could actually take on Google.
That was a hot topic for sure. Zuckerberg was very clear that right now the focus is on making Meta AI super useful for everyday stuff. Getting info, how-to guides, making images. He even talked about using it to plan a family trip. It's all about getting people hooked, not making money just yet.
So build the user base first, figure out the money later. Classic Silicon Valley playbook. But it's interesting that they're even suggesting Meta AI could go toe-to-toe with Google. That's a bold move.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It shows you how much faith they have in AI to shake things up.
Yeah.
But it's not just about search, it's about changing how we interact with information entirely. Imagine talking to an AI like it's a real person, getting answers, getting things done,
Oh,
making creative stuff.
Sounds amazing and kind of scary at the same time. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Back to the present Threads. They're calling it a major social app. Almost 275 million monthly active users. But they don't expect to make any real money from it until 2025.
That's right. Patience is the name of the game with Threads. They're all about building a strong community and making it super easy to use. If they get that right, they think the money will come. It's worked before, but it's a crowded market out there. Who knows if they can pull it off again?
Okay, so we've got AI making the main business better. Big plans for Meta AI. And Threads is a slow burn, but they're throwing a ton of money at all of this, especially for AI infrastructure and talent. Can they really afford to do all this at once?
That's the million-dollar question. Analysts were definitely pushing on that. They're spending big, but they're also talking about efficiency and making sure all this investment pays off, especially when it comes to hiring people. They know they have to grow, but they also have to be smart about it. AI is changing so fast, it's a tough balancing act.
So aggressive and careful at the same time. That's a tightrope walk. But they're clearly all in on AI. That's the future they're betting on. And they're willing to put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah, it's a high-stakes game for sure. And it's not just about, the code and algorithms. They're actually building their own AI chips for their data centers, hiring all the best people in machine learning computer vision. It's a full-on commitment.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
What about their other big gamble? The Metaverse Reality Labs is still in the red.
Mm-hmm.
And the analysts were really grilling them about whether they can keep throwing money at it, especially with all this AI spending going on.
That was a big sticking point. The CFO, Susan Lai, didn't try to hide it. They expect those Reality Labs losses to get even bigger next year. But she also said they're not backing down. They still believe in this vision, especially with all the progress they're making with AR, augmented reality. Those Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses are a big part of that.
Those glasses are pretty cool looking, but it still feels like the metaverse is a long way off. Are they thinking those glasses are going to be what gets people hooked on the whole thing? Like the gateway drug to the metaverse?
Maybe. They're betting that mixing the real world with the digital world is going to create all kinds of new experiences. Not just games, but stuff for work, education, hanging out with people.
It's a big idea, but it's kind of hard to picture. What did they say about how this is all going to work? Besides the glasses, I mean.
They talked about using AR to make real-world stuff more interesting. Like, imagine walking by a historical building and getting all this information popped up on your glasses, or trying to put together furniture and having the instructions projected right onto the pieces. They also see potential for VR virtual reality,
Right.
for things like training simulations, working together in virtual spaces.
So it's not just about putting on a headset and disappearing into a virtual world.
Mm.
They're trying to connect the real world and the digital world.
Mm.
But is that something people actually want? I feel like a lot of people are still pretty skeptical about the whole metaverse thing.
Yeah, they've got a lot of work to do to convince people. And they've got competition. Apple is investing a ton in AR and VR too, but Meta has a huge advantage with all those users on Facebook and Instagram. They know how to make stuff that people want to use.
So they're hoping that experience is going to help them win in the metaverse. We'll see. But let's not forget about the other elephant in the room, WhatsApp. They still haven't figured out how to make real money from it.
True. They're making some progress with those click-to-message ads and paid messaging for businesses. But it's slow going compared to their other platforms. WhatsApp is huge, though, especially in places like India and Brazil. So the potential is there. It's just a matter of finding the right way to make money without annoying people.
Sounds like they've been pretty good at that with Facebook and Instagram. Think they can do it with WhatsApp too.
Good question. They're trying different things, but they're being careful. They don't want to mess up a good thing. One thing they did highlight was how WhatsApp Business is growing. You know, that lets businesses talk to their customers and even sell stuff right through WhatsApp.
So it's more about enabling commerce than just blasting ads at people.
Exactly. They're using what WhatsApp is already good at to help businesses make money. And that could turn into big bucks down the road. It's a long game, but it might be the key to WhatsApp's success.
Okay, so AI, the metaverse WhatsApp, and trying to grow without going broke, it's a lot. What's the big takeaway from all this? What's the story here?
I think the story is that Meta is changing. They know that social media isn't the shiny new thing anymore, so they're making these big bets on AI and these immersive experiences. It's risky, but it's also pretty ambitious. They're not just trying to keep up with the future, they're trying to create it.
All right, so let's wrap up this meta deep dive. We covered a ton. AI, the metaverse, WhatsApp, all these big bets they're making. But there's one thing that really stuck with me. Their focus on responsibility, like how they're handling all the ethical stuff around AI.
Yeah, that came up a lot. They know people are watching them, especially after all the stuff in the past. They kept saying they're committed to building AI that's fair, transparent, accountable, the whole 9 yards.
It sounds like they're trying to get ahead of the curve instead of playing catch up. Did they give any specific examples of what they're doing?
They talked about investing in research to make sure their algorithms aren't biased, and building tools to spot fake news and stop it from spreading. They also mentioned working on ways to use AI without compromising people's privacy, which is huge considering how much data they're collecting.
So they're trying to build those safeguards right into the system from the get-go. That's good to hear. Especially with all the potential for AI to be used in bad ways.
Definitely a step in the right direction. But it's a constant battle. The more powerful AI gets, the more we have to think about these ethical questions.
It's a good reminder that technology isn't neutral. It reflects the values of the people who create it and the choices they make. As Meta builds the future of AI, those choices are going to have a ripple effect on everyone.
Absolutely. This isn't just about Meta making money. It's about what kind of world we want to live in. And that's what I think we should all take away from this. We're not just watching this happen, we're part of it. The choices we make, the questions we ask, they all matter.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
We have a role to play in shaping this future. So as you go about your day thinking about all this meta stuff, remember, this isn't just about understanding a company. It's about understanding ourselves and the world we're building.
Exactly. Keep asking those questions, stay informed, and don't settle for anything less than the best from the technology that shapes our lives.
That's a wrap on this Meta Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.